First of all, with the man in the cave and this idea and this thought of the enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me, and make me get up early and work hard to push myself. Because I knew that somewhere out there was an enemy, a real man, a person, a human that was waiting, that was preparing for me. And therefore, I needed to prepare for him. I needed to be ready. I needed to be the things I always talk about. I needed to be stronger, faster, and smarter, and better, so that when we did meet on the battlefield, I would be ready for that rendezvous, for that meeting, that fate, that battle. And that thought of the enemy, it absolutely fueled me. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. And when I was a leader in the SEAL teams, in charge of men, it was even more profound, because I was thinking about that rendezvous for everybody that I led, everyone I was in charge of, everyone that I trained. And I felt that burden, the burden of responsibility to prepare those men, protect those men, those frogmen, those warriors, my brothers. And it was my burden to train those guys and prepare them. And that burden, it may have made me a little bit crazy, a little bit paranoid, a little bit over the top, but I didn't really know any other way. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. So now, I am no longer a combat leader. I no longer prepare men for war. So the drive and the motivation is from a different place. It's from a solemn place. The drive now and the motivation now is not really from the enemy anymore. Now it's from my friends, my brothers. It's from those SEALs that I knew and that I cared about more than anything. And that they sacrificed everything for us, for me. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. The enemy. That was a thought that used to drive me, kind of haunt me. And those guys, they gave their lives for us. And now, I cannot help but think and remember that every breath that we take, it's a sacred gift from those men. Every day we have, every sunrise, every thought and every smile and every laugh, it's a gift. And I will treasure that gift of life. And I
try to do useful things, try to maximize the probability the future is good, make the future exciting, something you look forward to. You know, with Tesla, we're like trying to make things that people love. How many things can you buy that you really love, that really give you joy? So rare, so rare. I wish there were more things. That's what we're trying to do. Just make things that somebody loves. Like, what are the set of things that can be done to make the future better? You know, I think that a future where we are a spacefaring civilization out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. Makes me want that future. You know, there need to be things that make you look forward to waking up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you look forward to the day, look forward to the future. A future where we are a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars, I think that's very exciting. That is a thing we want. Whereas if you knew we would not be a spacefaring civilization but forever confined to Earth, this would not be a good future. That would be very sad, I think. No, I just think like if there are two futures, and one future is we're out there among the stars and the things we read about and see in science fiction movies, the good ones, are true. We have these starships and we're going to see what other planets are like, and we're a multi-planet species, and the scope and scale of consciousness is expanded across many civilizations and many planets and many star systems. This is a great future. This is a wonderful thing to me. And that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. Makes me want that future. Life has to be more than about solving problems. If all that life is about is solving problems, why bother getting up in the morning? There have to be things that make you proud to be a member of humanity. Only a handful of people went to the moon. And yet, we all went to the moon. We went with them vicariously. We shared in that adventure. I don't think anyone would say that that was a bad idea. That was great. We need more of those things. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. Makes me want that future.
Yo, what's up, dude? Kind of expected to tune into a Yusuf Dikeç. Oh, the guy. uh, how you doing? I'm all good. Tired as hell, but good. How you doing? How is you? Be good. And offender work week. Going to get some groceries. Sheraton. Nice.
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And you would, of course, be able to alter your time sense and slip, say, 75 years of subjective time into 8 hours of sleep. You would, I suppose, start out by fulfilling all your wishes. You could design for yourself what would be the most ecstatic life. Love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, gardens, music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. Music beyond belief. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then after a couple of months of this sort of thing at 75 years a night, you would be getting a little taste for something different. You would move over to an adventurous dimension, where there were certain dangers involved, and the thrill of dealing with dangers. And you could rescue princesses from dragons, and go on dangerous journeys, make wonderful explosions and blow them up. Eventually get into contest with enemies. And after you've done that for some time, you'd think up a new wrinkle to forget that you were dreaming, so that you would think it was all for real, and to be anxious about it, because it'd be so great when you woke up. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. And then you say, well, like children who dare each other on things, how far out could you get? What could you take? What dimension of being lost, of abandonment of your power, what dimension of that could you stand? You could ask yourself this, because you know you'd eventually wake up.
Alright, I'm gonna get some drinks and I'll be right
After
back.
you've gone on doing this, you see, for some time, you would suddenly find yourself sitting around in this room with all your personal involvements, problems, etc., talking with me. How do you know if that's not what you're doing? Could be. Because after all, what would you do if you were God? I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. Any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. 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 I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. What would you do if you were God? 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 What would you do if you were God?
One of the things that has blown me away in the last year, a large proportion of my audience has been young men. And Akira, I've spoken to them a lot about responsibility.
People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility. That's the secret to meaningful life. Without the meaningful life, all you have is suffering. What's so odd about this is that of all the things that I've spoken about, because I can see the audience and I can feel how the audience is reacting, because I'm always paying attention to all of you, I get some sense of how what I'm saying is landing. what happens is if I talk about responsibilities, everyone is silent. Silent and not moving. Focusing, attentive. Pick up your responsibility. Pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. And the room goes quiet and everybody's eyes open and I think, that always makes me break up. People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility.
Alright.
That's the secret to meaningful life. Without the meaningful life,
Lots of animals.
I don't know why. I don't really understand it. There's something about it that's so crucial because we've been fed this unending diet of rights and freedoms, and there's something about that that's so pathologically wrong. People are starving for the antidote, and the antidote is truth and responsibility. That's the secret to a meaningful life, and without the meaningful life, all you have is suffering and nihilism and despair and all of that self-contempt, and that's not good. And it's necessary for men to stand up and take responsibility, and they all know that and are starving for that message. And the message is more that that's also a good thing to stand up and take responsibility because
Mo said, what's this?
active engagement with the world is part of what is destroying and undermining the planet and adding to the tyranny of the social system. It's like, how about not so much of that? It is too soul deadening. It's anti-human right to the core. My sense instead is that if you were able to reveal the best of yourself to you in the world, that you would be an overwhelming force for good. People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. Truth and responsibility. People are starving for the antidote. And the antidote is truth and responsibility. That's the secret to a meaningful life. Without the meaningful life, all you have is suffering.
Yeah, dude, he's maxed out. That's what happens when you max out. Complete the game 100%. Everything else aside, what I was most impressed by his technique, both eyes up. Yeah. He's like full Wu Wei. Do you know that term, Wu Wei? Wu Wei. Wu Wei is an ancient. It's basically not doing. It means not doing, right? Not trying. Literally meaning inexertion, inaction, effortless action. Yeah, something like that. He's just, you know, he's like Bruce Lee of shooting. It's hilarious, man. That guy. Honestly, I love watching anyone doing something at top level. I sometimes go into that state, like Wu Wei state. When I used to do parkour, like, you know, after doing it for a while, you know, they also call it flow state. That's also with drawing as well, right? It's really hard to explain, right? But you know, you forget about time, your consciousness kind of blends with the activity, you kind of forget. Not forget, but you know, I mean, that's the only word I can use. You forget, like, who you are, where you are, like it just starts flowing effortlessly. Oh, that reminds me the movie from Pixar, Soul. Yeah, it's like, damn. I think no other resource or book or nothing else could describe it better. They made a great job. What do you call it? Depicting that flow state. Completely in the present moment. I'm not sure about if it's present moment.
You have to be the hero.
Because usually what happens to me is when I do presence meditation, you know, you become present, but I become extremely self-conscious. But it's flow state is like opposite of it. Kind of weird. You're not unconscious, but yeah, it's weird. Because what happens in my experience is when I do presence meditation, you know, you are like letting go of the mind. You just focus on your breath and focus on the present moment. But then I go blank, right? It's like also I become extremely aware of all the sensations and all that stuff. And when I go into that mood, you know, I'm hyper aware of every line, every mark on the paper.
Build momentum, build confidence and momentum with each good decision.
I think it's also related to dopamine circuits.
Anyone can do
When my mind is satiated with dopamine, it doesn't, you know, doesn't nag like a fucking kid.
whether it's the movies that you watch, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, you can choose to be inspired. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. Be the hero. Be the hero.
Completely in the present. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I can't explain it. Also, it happens when I'm playing the drums. Also running. Yeah. It's like when I'm running, like I start running, and after 1 kilometers, I'm in the zone, right? I completely forget about everything. And before I know it, I'm like, you know, run like 5 kilometers. But it's not like you're unconscious, you remember the experience. It's like you're floating in space. Honestly, I live for that. And that's one of the reasons I love doing parkour so much. Actually, today I did a parkour workout. It was so, like, after a good parkour session, I used to do it in the gym, in the academy, parkour academy. So after a good session, it's like I'm walking outside, it's like I'm floating, right? It feels like I'm not stepping, actually, right? It's like floating on my toes.
And you can do that.
Like, I think physical explanation would be like that, but it lasts like a day after. Like, it lasts like, I don't know, 30 to 40 hours.
And you can do that.
It's so insane. Usually when I talk about, you know, talk about sports and stuff to people who doesn't do any physical activity, they think about it like, you know, oh, I don't want to go to the gym and stuff like that. Usually I can't even explain it. It's not about that, dude. It's like, you know, it's not about doing the sports, right? It's not the activity. It's more about. Also, there are a lot of people doing it for the wrong reason, right? Like, I think Kevin Hart. Yeah, Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart talked about it in one of his what is it, stand-up shows. And when I watched it, it instantly made sense. Like, because in every gym, like, there's that one guy, like the, you know, king of that gym, of that specific gym. Like, he's the best, right? He's he lifts the most heavy weights, he can bench press the most, he can, you know, leg press the most. That guy, right? But then he goes outside of the gym like he's working in a call center, right? When I would run for any distance over 200, my focus was on not dying. We used to walk so much in military, and no one believes this when I say it. I mean, I wouldn't believe it if somebody told me before I went to the military. Dude, I fell asleep while walking because we were walking for so long. It's like at that point it's automatic, right? My legs are moving automatically, so my eyes kind of shut down, because also there's someone in front of you. We are like, you know, walking in a formation, the walking formation. It was so insane. I fell asleep like for 5 minutes or something like that. There's always that one jabroni, yeah. But you know, if you look at their lives, you know, they can talk to a girl, they can't make money, stuff like that. They are not actually winning, but or you know, they can't, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, we want to win in everything, right? Not in one thing. Also, yeah, that one of the reasons I don't go to gym and normal gym too much is, you know, the standard behavior of the dudes there. So funny. It's the same type of walking after someone goes into a set and comes out of the set. You probably know that walk. It's like, you know, arms are out. Like they are instantly possessed by the testosterone. Right? I'm like, what the fuck is happening to you, man?
Scuba training.
You were normal a second ago.
Very traumatic things to you underwater with your scuba gear on, rip it off, rip your face.
Like they turn into a thug instantly. Like they bench press a couple of sets, a couple of reps.
Eventually they do things that are so horrible to you that you have to come to the surface. And when you came to the surface, what they told you to do was
Yeah, it's so funny, man.
I'm not sure if I believe that. I think what they were really doing was
I think usually women are smarter, right? We dudes are like, you know, have all these weird shit. You know, like every guy thinks they know how to fight. They can beat anybody. Every guy thinks they can drive. Every guy thinks they can drift. And then what else? Yeah, every guy thinks they know women, right? I mean, if you do an experiment and ask random guys on the street for advice, right? If the subject is like something random like economics, something like that, they would say, I don't know, I don't do that. Or if you ask them about science or something like that, they might say something like that. That's not my specialty. They would say something like that. But if you ask them about politics, money, and women, pretty much every guy thinks they know they know the truth and they are right. That's so insane. I've been watching the new episodes of Our Planet. Also, I was taking screenshots to draw. It was saying like every day. I think every day they are discovering like 100 new species underwater. Like, isn't that insane?
grace. Well, ask God, maybe he'll give it to you. And the theologian will tell you, yes, God gives his grace freely. He gives it to all because he loves all. It's here like the air. All you have to do is receive it. Or a more orthodox, a Catholic Christian would say, all you have to do is to be baptized, to take the holy sacrament of the altar, the bread and wine, the body and blood of Christ, and there is the grace right there. And it's given by these simple physical means so that it's very easily and readily available. Well, a lot of people got baptized. And it doesn't always take. People fall from grace. Why do they? You see, we're just talking about the same old problem. But we've put it a step up. But it's the same problem. How can I improve myself? Was the first problem. The second problem is, do you want grace? Do you want grace? Do you want grace? Do you want grace? How can I accept grace? They're both the same problem. Because you've got to make a move. Which will put yourself out of your own control into the control of a better. If you don't believe in the Christian kind of a God, you can believe in the Hindu kind of a God, who is your inner self. You see, you've got a lower self, which you can call your ego. That's that little scoundrelous fellow. Always out for me. But behind the ego, there is the Atman, the inner self, the inward light, as Quakers would call it, the real self, the spirit, which is substantially identical with God. So you've got to meditate in such a way that you identify with your higher self. How do you do that? Well, you start by watching all your thoughts very carefully, watching your feelings, watching your emotions, so that you begin to build up a sense of separation between the watcher and what is watched. Do you want grace? Do you want grace? Do you want grace? Do you want grace? So that you are, as it were, no longer carried away by your own stream of consciousness. You remain the witness, impassively, impartially, suspending judgment and watching it all go on. That seems to be something like progress. At least you're taking an objective view of what is going on. Of what is going on. You are beginning to be in a position to control it. But just wait a minute. Who is this self behind the self? The watching self. Can you watch that one? It's interesting if you do. Because you find out, of course, that this is just as the problem of grace is nothing more than a transposition of the first problem. How am I to be unselfish? by my own power. It becomes how am I to get grace by my own power.
But why would I put my job on the line to have an opinion? I know why. Because the ability to speak your truth is the bulwark against hell. And losing your job? That's nothing. That's nothing compared to where things can go when they go badly. For me, it was just preventative. It's like, this isn't going in a good direction. Well, should you take a risk? It's like, you don't have that choice. You're silent? That's a risk. Now, most people don't understand the risks of silence. I happen to understand the risks of silence because I've been studying them for 40 years. It's my language. I'll take responsibility for what I say. I am not saying your words. It's my language. I'll take responsibility for what I say. I am not saying your words. I know where corruption of speech leads. And I'm not going there. And you know, one of the things I tried to learn when I was taking apart what happened in Auschwitz and trying to put myself in the position of an Auschwitz camp guard, which, by the way, you can do if you use your imagination a bit. I wouldn't call it exactly the world's most pleasant meditative experience. You can conjure that part of yourself up if you want, and that'll teach you something about what you're like. People don't do it because it's too frightening. But I know perfectly well that I could do that sort of thing. And so once I learned that I could do that sort of thing, and maybe that I could even enjoy it, I thought, okay, fine, I get it. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to live so that if that opportunity was presented to me, I wouldn't take it. It's my language. I'll take responsibility for what I say. I am not saying your words. It's my language. I'll take responsibility for what I say. I am not saying your words. And I think that's the lesson that people need to learn from the 20th century. That's what human beings did, okay? Well, we're all human, okay? So how is it that we should live so that we don't do that again? Well, part of that is to try to say the truth. Part of that is to try to say the truth. No matter what. No matter what. Because the alternative is worse. And it is worse. It's my language. I'll take responsibility for what I say. I am not saying your words.
fortunes require leverage. Business leverage comes from capital, people, and products, with no marginal cost of replication.
Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand.
Leverage is critical. We all know what leverage is when we use a seesaw or a lever. We understand how that works physically. But I think what our brains aren't really well evolved to comprehend is how much leverage is possible in modern society and what the newest forms of leverage are. The oldest form of leverage is labor, which is people working for you. So instead of me lifting rocks, I can have 10 people lift rocks. Then just by my guidance and where the rock should go, a lot more rocks get moved than I could do myself. Everybody understands this because we're evolved to understand the labor form of leverage.
Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand.
And so what happens is society overvalues labor as a form of leverage. This is why your parents are impressed when you get a promotion and you have lots of people working underneath you. This is why when a lot of naive people, when you tell them about your company, they'll say how many people work there. They'll use that as a way to establish credibility. They're trying to measure how much leverage and impact you actually have. We just automatically assume that more people is better. But I would argue that this is the worst form of leverage that you could possibly use. Managing other people is incredibly messy. It requires tremendous leadership skills. You're one short hop from a mutiny or getting eaten or torn apart by the mob. It's incredibly
Three should have made this grocery list last night, yeah.
fight. For example, communism, Marxism,
Because now I'm hungry and
capital and labor.
the list is basically by all the things, yeah. That's one of my principles, man. Never go shopping with an empty stomach.
That are going to allow you to use the other forms of leverage, which are much more interesting.
Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and
Also, when I'm tired or stuff like that, I used to go buy stuff after the workout on the way home. Like I come home, like I'm gonna cook something. I mean, I got the food, the ingredients, but there are also lots of bullshit in the bag, right? Like lots of weird biscuits and candy. Oh man. I would say just have some appetizers. Appetizers? Because anytime I go shopping with an empty stomach, it's like the decisions, the stuff I buy, like completely irrational. It's like it's not me doing the grocery. It's just some monkey grabbing anything it can find. Yo, what's up, Mo?
actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations. It is actually one word to deal with all those situations. And that is good. And this is actually something that one of my guys that worked for me pointed out to me. He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. One day he was telling me about some issue that he was having. He said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. 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 You're going to say good. You're going to say good. You're going to say good. Good. So that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. Good. And I said, well, yeah. And I mean it. And that is how I feel. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it.
Easy to figure out to me on this guy.
Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. You can get more experience and build a better resume. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. Got injured. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Good. Needed a break from training. Got tapped out? Good. It's better to tap in training than to tap out on the street. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. And that's it. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. No. You just look at the issue and you say, good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. I don't mean to say something that's all cliche. I don't mean to sound like Mr. Positive. Find the positive, but do that. You can do that. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Take that issue, take that problem, take that issue, take that problem, and make it something good. Make it something good. And bring that attitude to your team. Do. You go forward. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. And lastly, like to close this out. If you can say the word good guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, go out on the attack. And that right there is about as good as it gets.
Akira.
He's got clout.
You know the old question. If a tree crashes in a forest and there is nobody around to hear it, is there a noise? This question has been discussed in many futile ways. But noise, basically, is a state of affairs that requires an eardrum and an audio nervous system behind the eardrum. When the tree falls, it makes the air vibrate. If there is anywhere around an ear with the appropriate nervous system, there will be a noise. Because noise is a relationship between motion in the air and ears. If there is not any ear around, there won't be any noise, although there will be vibration in the air. And if there is some instrument around, such as a microphone attached to a tape recorder, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. In the same way, let's suppose the sun sends out light into space. Now, the space surrounding the sun will be black darkness, as if there were no light in it, unless a planet happens to float by. When a planet floats by, there will be light. In the darkness. But if there isn't anything to relate to the sun in that way, then comes no light. Now this goes right down to the root and ground of everything. It goes down to the essence of your nerves, your whole being. That it's all an interdependence. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. And that's why one of the basic symbols of the universe is the Chinese yin-yang symbol, which you know is a circle with an S curve in the center. One side of the S is black, the other is white. So it makes, as it were, two commas or two fishes. And the eye of the fish is the opposite color. The white fish has a black eye, the black fish has a white eye, curling in on each other. Now this thing is called a helix. And that is the fundamental form of the galaxies, the great nebulae we see out in space. And this is basically too the position of sexual intercourse. This is lovemaking. And this is, you know, when you hold hands and so on. This is it. This is it. There will be noise. There will be a vibration.
I'm sorry. But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural.
Hello, Lola.
Don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Akira. He's got clout.
If you want to make money, you have to get paid at scale. Why you? That's accountability. At scale, that's leverage. You getting paid as opposed to somebody else getting paid.
I was looking at the homepage. So the stream, stay for a while. Nice, welcome in.
That's specific knowledge. Feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. Specific knowledge. Feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. We have this idea that everything can be taught. Everything can be taught in school. And it's not true that everything can be taught. In fact, the most interesting things cannot be taught. But everything can be learned. But everything can be learned. Very often that learning either comes from some innate characteristics in your DNA, or it could be through your childhood where you learn soft skills, which are very, very hard to teach later on in life, or it's something that is brand new, so nobody else knows how to do it either, or it's true on-the-job training because you're pattern matching into a highly complex environment. Specific knowledge is the knowledge that you care about, especially if you're later in life. Let's say you're post 20, 21, 22. You almost don't get to choose which specific knowledge you have. Rather, you get to look at what you have already built by that point in time, and then you can build on top of it. The first thing to notice about specific knowledge is that you can't be trained for it. If you can be trained for it, if you can go to a class and learn specific knowledge, then somebody else can be trained for it too. And then we can mass produce and mass train people. Heck, we can even program computers to do it. And eventually we can program robots to walk around doing it. So if that's the case, then you're extremely replaceable, and all we have to pay you is the minimum wage that we have to pay you to get you to do it, when there are lots of other takers who can be trained to do it. That's specific knowledge. Feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. Specific knowledge. Feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. Specific knowledge is found much more by pursuing your innate talents, your genuine curiosity, and your passion. Very often, specific knowledge is at the edge of knowledge. It's also stuff that's just being figured out, or is really hard to figure out. So, if you're not 100% into it, somebody else who is 100% into it will outperform you. And they won't just outperform you by a little bit, they'll outperform you by a lot. Because now we're operating the domain of ideas, compound interest really applies and leverage really applies. If you're operating with 1,000 times leverage and somebody is right 80% of the time and somebody else is right 90% of the time, the person who's right 90% of the time will literally get paid hundreds of times more by the market. So very often, it's not something you sit down and you reason about. It's more found by observation. You almost have to look back on your own life and see what you're actually good at. I wanted to be a scientist. The first person to actually point out my real specific knowledge was my mother. I was like 15 or 16 years old. I was telling a friend of mine that I wanted to be an astrophysicist, and she said, "No, you're going to go into business." And I was like, "What? My mom's telling me I'm going to be in business? I'm going to be an astrophysicist." Mom doesn't know what she's talking about. But Mom knew exactly what she was talking about. She had already observed. We walked down the street. I would critique the local pizza parlor on why they were selling their slices a certain way with certain toppings, and why their process of ordering was this way when it should have been that way. So she knew that I had more of a business curious mind, but then my obsession with science combined to create technology and technology businesses where I found myself. That's specific knowledge. Feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. That's specific feels like play to me. Specific knowledge. But it looks like work to others. So very often, your specific knowledge is observed and often observed by other people who know you well and revealed in situations rather than something that you come up with.
Alright, be right back, guys.
Akira.
He's got clout. You got to be oriented towards something, because otherwise you're disoriented. You just spin around in circles, and then you suffer, and so do people around you. It's not a good solution. Orient yourself towards something. You have to figure out what it is. What will work for you? What goal would justify the suffering of your life? Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. But it's a personal process, so you need a personal place to stand, because otherwise you're going to be handed a place to stand on a plate. And it may be one that makes you a puppet of someone else's goals. So I would say, what are the processes? Well, I think what I've recommended to people is clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies. That's not the same as telling the truth. You don't get to do that to begin with, because you're not good enough at it to even attempt it in some sense. But everyone can stop saying things they know to be falsehoods. Stop saying things that violate your conscience. Here's another idea. Stop saying and doing things that make you feel weak. All you have to do is pay attention to that. Some things you do will make you feel disintegrated. It's a physiological sensation. Some things improve your integrity, and some things disintegrate you. The things that disintegrate you, you often do to impress other people. You're escaping what you know to be your moral obligation, and your moral obligation stems naturally from your aims. And if you don't have an aim, well then, you're aimless. Clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. I had a girl come up to me last night. She said, I started cleaning up my room, and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. So straighten up what you can straighten up, and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. Clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. It's like, hey, man, you have a room. Most people throughout human history have not had a room. You have a room. Well, my room's a hellhole. It's like, well, then you're a denizen of hell inhabiting it. You should do something about that. Well, what? Well, put it in minimal order. Get your clothes together, because you have to wear those. People are looking at your clothes. What clothes should you be wearing? Not the clothes of a total wretched loser. How about that? What about your bed? Well, is it comfortable? Do you make it in the morning so it looks like half civilized? Can you sleep there? It's like, is there junk everywhere so you just hate your life when you walk into your room? It's like, clean the damn thing up. See if you can do it. Order your drawers. Learn to fold your clothes. Put it in minimal order. And then, man, you could get spectacular. You said, put a plant in there. It's like, maybe I could make it beautiful.
William Shakespeare
put it this way. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. George Bernard Shaw said, "People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are." I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. Well, it's pretty apparent, isn't it? And every person who discovered this for a while believed that he was the first one to work it out. We become what we think about. Now it stands to reason that a person who's thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal is going to reach it, because that's what he's thinking about. And we become what we think about. Conversely, the man who has no goal, who doesn't know where he's going, and whose thoughts must therefore be thoughts of confusion and anxiety and fear and worry, becomes what he thinks about. His life becomes one of frustration, fear, anxiety, and worry. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. Now, how does it work? Why do we become what we think about? Well, I'll tell you how it works as far as we know. Suppose a farmer has some land, and it's good, fertile land. Now, the land gives the farmer a choice. He may plant in that land whatever he chooses. The land doesn't care. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. Now, let's say that the farmer has two seeds in his hand. One is a seed of corn, the other is nightshade, a deadly poison. He digs two little holes in the earth and he plants both seeds, one corn, the other nightshade. He covers up the holes, waters, and takes care of the land, and what will happen? Invariably, the land will return what is planted. As it's written in the Bible, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. So up come the two plants, one corn, one poison. Now, the human mind is far more fertile, far more incredible and mysterious than the land, but it works the same way. It doesn't care what we plant. Success, failure. A concrete worthwhile goal, or confusion, misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, and so on. But what we plant, it will return to us. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. I don't believe in circumstances. Great unexplored continent on the earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant.
Hey Silver, what's up?
The fact is, we don't really have a cultural protocol for what to do when we lose a loved one. You have to basically make up that protocol. And the first thing is, you already know it's going to be wretched. And you're not going to escape it. That pain, the pain that's going to come, it's going to come in waves. At first, you won't even notice that they're waves because all the waves are going to be so.
Nothing much. How are you today? It's all good. Drawing some cat skulls. Reminds me of a saber tooth. Claws, the jaguar. They kind of look like each other. I think only the cats like cheetah. I think they have a distinctly more rounded skull. Also cougar. And the rest is pretty much the same. I mean, not exactly the same, but yeah, pretty much identical when it comes to overall shape.
What's so odd about this is that of all the things that I've spoken about, because I can see the audience and I can feel how the audience is reacting, because I'm always paying attention to all of you, I get some sense of how what I'm saying is landing. What happens is if I talk about responsibilities, everyone is silent.
I think cheetah is like a smaller head.
Pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. And the room goes quiet.
Yo, what's up, man? $300 grocery bill? Well, the price. More important thing is what did you buy? Can I bring a calculator too? Or use phone?
Something about it that's so crucial because we've been fed this unending diet of rights and freedoms, and there's something about that that's so pathologically wrong. People are starving for the antidote, and the antidote is truth and responsibility. That's the secret to a meaningful life, and without the meaningful life, all you have is suffering and nihilism and despair and all of that self-contempt, and that's not good. And it's necessary for men to stand up and take responsibility, and they all know that and are starving for that message. And the message is more that that's also a good thing.
I make sure to calculate how much I'm getting.
So much now from when you're young with this notion
Do you calculate while shopping? I mean, I do it as well, but I'm doing it in my head.
My sense instead is that if you were able to reveal the best of yourself to you in the world, that you would be an overwhelming force for good. People are starving for the antidote.
Price of groceries, yeah. I'm cognizant. A new word. Cognizant. Oh, okay. It's like you are aware, cognitively, of how much stuff is, and don't overpay when there's cheaper alternatives. But really, I need to get stuff. Doesn't really matter how much it is. Got to get it. For the stuff you don't need, like snacks, it's a different story. Yeah. Usually, if I had to do the shopping and then I'm hungry, I just get a snack bar, like a Snickers or something, so I can think straight for the duration of the shopping, right?
People acting like everyone else. Without knowing why, without knowing where they're going. Now think of it. In America right now, there are over 14 million people, 65.
I can understand you there, yeah. If you are, it's a completely different you when you are well rested, well fed. What else? Rested, fed. You know, when you are feeling safe, as opposed to, you know, you are tired and hungry. The decisions you make is completely different. Also, in my experience, my IQ drops to 2 digits when I'm hungry and tired. This was a more expensive trip, usually around 100, but it's my birthday this week. Nice. So August. And grilling fancy steaks and shit. Nice.
They're outer-directed people. A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men, working men, and these men were asked this question. Why do you work? Why do you get up in the
You are Leo?
19 out of 20
until August 21.
say everyone goes to work in the morning.
Leo, nice.
That's the reason they do it. Because everyone else is doing it. The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It is conformity. The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice. It is conformity.
Is this what they did to you? Is this how they tried to break you? Till they got what they were after? In your head must still be the remnant of a brain. In your heart must still be the desire to be a human being.
Alright, at this point I don't know what to draw. I'll just mess around a bit, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna do work on the project today. Maybe more animals. The sniper elite Yusuf. Yeah, that could be something. Let's see. What was the full name?
This is a dream my 5-year-old nephew had. Now, you gotta get the context of this dream, right? Years
Yusuf
after this
Tikeç.
dream, parents were divorced, so there were dragons in the house. He was about 4 at this time. He was running around the house with this little plastic knight helmet on and a sword. He's zipping around killing things with it. Doing this all the time.
Maybe as James Bond or something.
Night helmet on his pillow. Now, every night, or every second night, or every third night for 6 months, he'd been waking up screaming. So I was there one night when he woke up screaming. Next morning, I said, "Well, did you dream anything?" And so he launched into this story. He said he was in this field, and these little creatures, like dwarf, were coming up to him, and they didn't have.
I don't know, man.
legs. They had big beaks, and they were covered with hair and grease, and on top of their head was a cross. And there's lots and lots of these dwarves, and they were jumping on him with their beaks, biting him. We all looked at him and thought, well, it's no wonder you're waking up screaming, right? I mean, you know, that doesn't sound so good. And then he said, well, wait, there's more, right? Back in the distance, there's a dragon. You might as well go after the dragon.
Just goofing. Yeah, I mean,
Go after the dragon.
just looking for something low effort.
You might as well go after the
Where is we? Let's see. If I can
And the dragon is puffing out
work
fire and smoke. Fire and smoke.
these,
fire,
maybe?
Fire and smoke. And every time it puffs out fire and smoke, turns into these dwarfs. Big problem, right? Just like the problem of the Hydra in Greek mythology. Cut off one head,
more appear. What are you gonna do about these dwarfs? Kill one, big deal. 10 more are coming. What can you do about that? In a legal trial, that would have been an inadmissible question. That's called.
Yeah, I guess I will just draw some more animals.
The horror of this situation. You maybe could do something about it. And he said, "Ha! I take my sword. I get my dad." That's a good idea, right? There's the real dad, and then there's the tradition dad, right? You might as well have your father by your side if you're gonna go in.
Because if I start working on the project, it will go all night.
I get my dad. I go to where the dragon was. I jump up on his head. I poke both of his eyes out with the sword.
If I, what is it called? Open that switch on, that's gonna be
Wow, that's unbelievable! Unbelievable that he could do that. Perfect, right? There's no sense going
all night
thousands of them.
thing.
We'll go after the dragon. Go after the dragon.
I don't remember those riders. Oh, I've been messing around with the mount ideas. I was thinking about, I mean, currently mount is like a
Piece of its center nature, piece that can defend you against
like overextending, overreaching, but
other dragons. What if this was the
at
case?
some point it will be, but you know, probably one or two, like a wolf or a cat, something like that. Not horse, but you know, not too many mounts as well, you know, because everything you add to the game, it's labor, right? You need to design it, you need to model it, and there are lots of animations you need to do for one single character, and the texture painting, and the models, and the materials, and implementation into the engine, the mechanism, and the gameplay interaction, all that. So it's like, at one end I'm really ambitious, I want to do lots of stuff, add lots of stuff, but at the same time I'm being realistic, right? I'm trying to approach it like, so it's like, when you are studying design, you are approaching like this. This is the realism, or you can call it execution, right? And this is design. And this is the fantasy, right? So at this stage, it's like, go all out, right? You can like fantasize about all the crazy designs and stuff like that, and then you need to execute it, right? Into real life, translate into real life. And at this stage I'm approaching it like, so there are things that I will never give up, right? Because they serve a really important function, something like that. And at the same time, I'm thinking like, okay, what can I remove that will not depreciate the quality of the project, and that can like lower the production time and production budget and workload. It's like a counterbalancing, going back and forth all the time. But yeah, there are things that I will never give up. But mount is like, you know, it's kind of vague. It's not like adding a huge quality, but yeah, it adds something. Yeah, it's like, you know, and it's not like, I mean, adding all of it, but it's like a trade-off, right? Everything is a trade-off. You add something and you gain something, stuff like that. So it's one of those what is it? What do you call it? Like not sure kind of things. Yeah, nice to add, but doesn't make or break the game. Yeah, totally. got to balance the workload. Yeah, because you know currently I'm doing it solo. Everything I add, it's like you know adding to the project time. So yeah, it's like you know that balance, right? It's like being delusional, and never finishing a project. And this edge of the spectrum is like hyper realistic. You know, overly focused on efficiency and economy, but you know it's like, and then you use most of the game is like ready-made models. There's no vision. Right, this is the guy who lacks vision, and this is the guy who lacks realism. So it's like a good balance between the edges. Hey Mo, what's up? How you doing? There's a vast difference between both. Yeah, totally. So that's what life is about, right? Blending the opposite edges of stuff, right? For example, extroverts, what can't type, extraverts, introverts. So when you are born, you are somewhere on this spectrum, right? Maybe you are like hardcore introverts when you are born, but then you can develop this trait as well, or other way around. But it's not like I think this applies to everything. It's not like finding a middle gray, boring, normal. It's not about that. It's like blending these, right? So when it comes to these traits like introversion and extroversion, I think Jung calls it centrovert, right? If you blend these successfully, you become a centrovert. So you have access to both, and depends on the situation. You can be an introvert or extrovert, right? Introvert, whatever.
What would be the forms of culture that we would say to be necessary or most
I'm doing okay. How about you all? We are good. Just messing around and doing some animal studies. Life is mastering the blend tool. Yeah, totally.
And music, to me, is the most representational form of art.
Also, we were talking about earlier, right? The guys going hard in the gym, but they are like testosterone addict virgins, something like that. So it's like that. I've been teaching for a long time, and I've seen lots of different, pretty much all main personality types. I'm an introvert, but make my connections with those I can trust. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be an extrovert, but when you need it, you can use that trait, right? It's very beneficial to develop the opposite end of the spectrum. One of those days I'll get around to reading Carl Jung someday. Yeah, it's not an easy read, and it's not like, dude, that guy is insane. You know how many books he wrote? I'm reading Carl Jung, like, I think I'm almost done with all the main books he wrote. Like, it's an easy read. I think for you, TK, it's an easy read because more you know, more you can learn, because you have the foundation for that. But if you know nothing about psychology or life, that will be a hard read. But yeah, I think You can start with the psychology of the unconscious. Or archetypes of the unconscious, was it like that? Or Red Book as a reader's edition. It's like, you know, Encyclopedia of Jung. To max out your stats skills. Why not listen to an audiobook? Technical nonfiction isn't great for audiobooks. I like to take notes. Yeah, same with me. Anyone here know about Kim Young-gi? Kim Young-gi? Young-gi? I'm very bad at with names because... Oh yeah. Kim Young. Yeah, the legend. As for psychology, I read William James, but not Jung. Yeah, I'm gonna start... what is it? If I can find it. That's a very long read. That will be... story. Story of Civilization. Yeah. I'm gonna start this soon. Will Durant. History of Civilization. It's like how many volumes? Like 11 volumes, something like that. Yeah, 11 volumes, and they're like all hardcover. I think that will take a month or something. I don't know. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, same with me. When I'm reading something non-fiction, I want to take notes, you know. But I love listening to audiobook when it's a fiction, right? It's like, especially when I'm about to go to sleep, it's like, you know, it's like someone telling you a story. It's so nice. I actually thought he was still alive. Yeah, passed away, right? Yeah, God bless his soul, man. That guy is a legend. I've really been into Landmark series of books for ancient history books. Can you link it on Discord later? Definitely give the Stormlight Archive a listen on audiobook. I've read them and all, listen to the audio. It's great. Yeah, I love it. I'm really interested in it because it's Will Durant, right? I mean, there are lots of history of humans books, but I'm really interested in it because it's Will Durant. Stormlight Archive is epic high fantasy genre, probably the best of it. Man, I have so many fantasy books in Kui. I've started reading D&D, pretty much all D&D books. I got until what was it? I don't even remember the name of the series. I've read listened like 10 or 11, and then, you know, something came up to take a break from it. If I link to US Amazon pages, will you be able to use those? It will probably open my version of it. Because that's usually what happens. If I click on it, it usually directs to the, what is called, the related area. I'm glad I'm able to find his art online. I just didn't want the link to break or something.
I remember one time I was driving through Arizona and I saw one of those giant earth-moving machines roaring along the road at about 35 miles an hour with what looked like 20 tons of dirt in it. A tremendous, incredible machine. And there was a little man perched way up on top with the wheel in his hands guiding it. And as I drove along, I was struck by the similarity of that machine to the human mind. Just suppose you're sitting at the controls of such a vast source of energy. Are you going to sit back and fold your arms and let it run itself into a ditch? Or are you going to keep both hands firmly on the wheel and control and direct this power to a specific worthwhile purpose? It's up to you. You're in the driver's seat. We must control our thinking. We must control our thinking. It's up to you. You're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean there are so many books in Qui. I already have over 100 in Qui.
The same rule that can lead a man to a life of success, wealth, happiness, and all the things he's ever dreamed of for himself and his family.
I try to listen to it all the time, but you know, it's not always you are in the same wavelength. Let's put it that way. Usually when I'm doing a workout, or you know, when I'm walking, or you know, when I'm not high energy, you know, doing something really high energy like running or something, but I'm walking, I can focus on a novel or something like that. But when I'm working out, it's kind of hard. You know when you focus best, or you get it best? Road trip, right? If you need to go on a road trip alone, just put a good novel. Nice. I was listening to Stormlight Archive in bed. Couldn't fall asleep, just kept listening. I already knew the story. Nice. Stormlight Archive.
The editor-in-chief of the Toledo Daily Blade, and as he concluded his speech, he said something that I've never forgotten.
10 novels.
Something like this. My years in the newspaper
The
business.
Way of Kings. That's a nice name.
Among them, that people are basically good, and that we came from someplace, and we're So we should make our time here.
It also has a tabletop RPG or some game.
Teacher of all, the carpenter from the plains of Galilee gave us the secret time and time again. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. As ye believe,
Philosophically, you are going to love the shit out of it. TTRPG is in development. Nice. It is planned 10 book. 5 comes out this summer. So it's still ongoing.
as ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you.
I think a lot of what happiness is a management issue. You could be in a shit state of mind right now, but you can make some decisions to adjust that. And over the next couple hours, you'll get to a much better place. And these constant management decisions, they waver in and out of your life on a daily basis. Like this idea that you could have a good mindset and then all of a sudden you'll be happy. That's horseshit. It's like the tide. It comes in and it comes out. There's gonna be days where you're just not feeling so good physically. That's going to affect the way your happiness level is. It's never static. It's not
Taking a several year break after the book. Just writes a lot. Nice. He's got other series to tie up before he dives into Back Half, his magnum opus.
happy as fuck, is what I would say. It's like hunger. Goes in and out. It's always there. This is something I've cultivated for a long time and avoided things that make me unhappy and figured out what those things are and been very rigid about eliminating them from my life. There's a lot of cynicism in these days about inspiration, motivation, because there's a lot of fake shit. I see a million of these inspirational quote pages run by people that are probably depressed. You know, you see a lot of people that are talking about how to get ahead in life, but they're not really doing anything themselves. So there's a lot of cynicism involved in that. But there's also sincerity in it. If you just look at it with a pure heart and a pure mind, you can get a lot of energy out of that. And when you're around happy, inspirational people that are successful, it makes you feel better. And you get inspired. And if you act on that inspiration, your life will be more fulfilled. And it's not just inspirational in terms of financial success, but in terms of doing difficult things. Happy. Happy as fuck, is what I would say. Happy. Happy as fuck, is what I would say. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that think somehow or another you're going to get to some place where you're living in silk sheets and you're getting your toes done. Someone's dropping grapes into your mouth. I don't want that. That guy's not going to be happy. He's going to be bored. An hour into the grape. Get those fucking grapes away from me. Stop painting my toes.
The author, Brandon Sanderson, is best known for his fight scenes and amazing magic systems, but his world building I still think is amazing.
The great joy that you have in taking care of your children. You can protect your see a loser. I see some guy who's 43 years old, who lives in his parents' basement, and he fucking hates the world. I'm like, that was a baby that somebody just gave shitty
And
nutrients to.
Sunderland.
Thoughts and ideas
Every
and
one of his books
examples
has most epic climaxes.
develop these horrible, self-defeating patterns of behavior that led them to this point where they're this person with no future and no idea of how to get out of this rut and probably never will escape it. And might just wind up sucking on a gun. I'm happy. Happy as fuck. Is what I would say. Happy. Happy as fuck.
Like Avalanche, but Sunderland. Because Sanderson, yeah.
Is because we have been fed this line of horseshit.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
And I don't think you are. I think
Also, Stormlight is a really nice name. And I will definitely steal whatever I find amazing. Not steal, but you know, nothing is actually original, it's just a spin-off. If you analyze all the designs, I mean, look at fashion, right? Pretty much all fashion is like a spin-off of, you know, of something 50 years ago or something like that. That's the magic system. Stormlight fuels the magic in the series. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm all out of references. I need to take some more screenshots. Transover, yeah, recycle. It's like recycle, right? Also, you know, if you think about it, like. Remember when bell-bottom jeans were all the rage again? Yeah. Like, your body is everything you eat, right? So that's a way of looking at it. In your mother's womb, it's like your mother basically feeds you with your body with, you know, proteins and all that. And you are born, it's basically your body consists of everything you take or collect, all the nutrition you collect. Of course, there is processing and all that, but you know, simply it's like that. Also, mind is like that, right? Your mind is basically consists of data you collected all your life, right? It's like, you know, maybe you draw this and then you can't find an example. So let's say you draw this and then you draw a human, right? And then your mind mixes these, and then you make a birth-headed person, right? I'm oversimplifying it, but it's basically how mind works. Storms being used for magic sounds interesting, yeah. Yeah, so basically everything is a spin-off, right? But when you take something and, you know, directly copy it, or not, you know, take something and use it as it is, it's stealing, right? But if you think about it, like for example, can I think of something? Yeah, can't think of something, but you know, all the major stories are like that.
The people who have been abusing us for such a very long time. And I usually don't speak politically because I think the political framing is often a deep misrepresentation of the issue, at least the way in which political discourse has been sort of been ossified. It's been ossified in ways that make choice no longer really relevant. And you know, Christianity stole the culture away from the elites.
Yeah, so anyways, I'll just chill out a bit.
They always will. But the culture changed, and it changed in an important way.
And then maybe start the new series, I don't know.
That's what I see myself doing with a lot of these other people. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I see myself doing with a lot of these other people. I want to help steal the culture. Steal it away. Steal it away. I want to help steal the culture. Steal it away. Steal it away. And do everything I can. Do everything I can.
So yep, since no one is talking, I guess I'm gonna peace out. So thank you so much guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time, probably tomorrow or something like that. And yeah, take care, bye bye. Sharing the links? Oh, okay. Anyways, thanks guys, see you later.
The whole point about the metaphor is we can't win by playing the game. That's right. My way of trying to understand what it is to not play their game and to shift over to a totally different game, to shift the culture, is to steal the culture. The only thing I can get from history that's been able to do that are religion. But for reasons that I've articulated, I don't want, it's not personally, I mean in terms of the functionality, I don't think the standard model, the axial age model of religion is going to do what we need in order to steal the culture as deeply as we need to steal it.